YouTube. I apologize for the surroundings. I was going to try to do this at the range, but it's so cold that the camera was starting to freeze up, so we're doing it in my truck. Anyways, this video is about a comparison between the Makarov PM pistol and the Hungarian PA-63 pistol, and the similarities and differences, and a good comparison between the two. Now, they're both in the same caliber, both 9mm Makarov pistol caliber, which, of course, 9x18. And, of course, the big thing is many say, well, the PA-63 is a Makarov. It is not a Makarov. It's chambered in 9mm Makarov, and that's pretty much where the similarity ends. And people say, well, they're both they're both copies of the Walther PPK. They're not copies of the Walther PPK. The 9mm Makarov PM, of course, like this is the East German version, is, not a copy of the Walther. When Makarov and the Soviet designers looked at a Walther PPK, they said, we can make it simpler. And that's exactly what they did. The only real thing they used was the blowback design and the disassembly. And that was it. And only really the field stripping part of it. The rest of it is much simpler. The Makarov PM has 26 parts. And the Walther PPK, if I'm not mistaken, has 36 parts. And things were changed. Of course, there's no interchangeable parts between the Walther PPK and a Makarov PM. Whereas the Hungarian PA-63, of course, made in 1963 by FEG in Hungary, is much more of a Walther PPK copy. With several differences even between that. One being the fact that it has an aluminum frame versus the steel frame of the Walther PP and the PPK. Now, many people tell you, well, Walther made an aluminum frame PPK. They did, but they only did for a very short period of time. It was made of a material called dural, which was short for duraluminum. And Walther even knew then not to chamber in like the 380. The only two calibers the aluminum frame or dural framed Walther PP design and PPK were chambered in was 22 long rifle and 32 ACP. Now, why was that? Because the engineers and the designers at Walther knew that could not handle 380 ACP. Whereas the Hungarians, when they made the PA-63, they said, we'll just chamber it 9mm Makarov because that was the Soviet round. Which is why they will tell you, and many experts will tell you, that the PA-63 does not have the lifespan and durability of the steel-framed Makarov PM. So there's that. So you have to understand, it is not built the same. The quality is not the same. Now, as far as other things, the Makarov PM is shorter. It's the PA-63 is longer in length, which in a hip holster, that's not going to make much of a difference. In a pocket holster, this is much easier to conceal. The Makarov PM is an 8-round magazine, whereas the PA-63 is a 7-round magazine. The trigger between the two, I can tell you that the trigger of the Makarov PM is excellent. If you've seen any of my videos where I'm shooting long range, the trigger of this gun is absolutely outstanding. There have been many complaints of the PA-63 having a gritty, longer trigger pull, double action and single action. As far as the sights go, you'll hear people say, well, the PA-63 has better sights. It does not. If you can see this, as hopefully is clear. These are not great sights, but they are what they are. There's basically a windage adjustable military sight. PA-63 sights are pretty much the same thing. So, there's no comparison as far as the sights go. They're pretty much the same. They're very typical of the design. Ease of taking it down. Now, the field stripping, for the most part, is the same. You drop the trigger guard down and then pull the slide off. Well, that is where the similarity ends. To get a good, thorough takedown of the PA-63, like the firing pin, if you had to replace it or remove it, it's a spring-captured firing pin. It has to be taken down with tools. The Makarov PM, this tilts up and comes out, and the firing pin itself drops out of the gun. Very simple. Then the decocker is out. The only real tool you need to take down a Makarov PM is the cleaning rod that has a little tab on the end of it, and the screw head, because that allows you to unscrew the grip, and it allows you to use the little tool in the tab to take off the extractor. You don't need any other tools. So, and the other comparison is, well, what about the weight? What about the weight between the two? There's about 4 or 5 ounces difference between a steel frame Makarov PM and a PA-63. So you're not even going to notice that. Another person comes, well, gee, they made a Walther PPK in 9mm Ultra. That's a great round. Yeah, but it was a steel frame gun. And it was so unpopular, they only made 4,000 of them. That was it. They made roughly 4,000 of those guns. So to try to compare the two designs is not. The PA-63 was built for expedience. It was built for a small country, a small police force, and a small army. And if it's a gun that you are going to carry a lot and shoot very little, fine, outstanding. The PA-63 is not a bad gun. But between the two, the Makarov PM is a better gun. Now, some will say, well, gee, the PA-63 is still in service. Very limited use. The Makarov PM is in service. Probably the most recent version that the military has played with is a variation that has a suppressor, because it can be suppressed. Don't let anyone tell you you have to have a special slide to suppress it. All you need to do is take the barrel off with a barrel press, which is fairly simple if you have that tool. Put a new barrel on that has an adapter. It's threaded for an adapter. And voila, you have a gun that can be suppressed. The Russian military has this really neat version. I don't know if they're going to adopt it, but they are experimenting with it as of last year. And it has a suppressor. It's been fitted for a shoulder stock and an optic system, and it's a very funky looking gun. But it's the fact that they're still experimenting with the design. And the Russian Federation is not the only military that still uses the Makarov PM. It's still in use. It's still in wide use, which tells you how good the pistol is, and it's been around since 1951. So, between the two handguns, which is better? Let's just rough out the basic comparisons. Easier to take down, replace parts if you need to, Makarov PM. Durability, all steel frame, Makarov PM. Gonna win hands down. Cost, these run, if you can find a good Bulgarian, $300, $350. The PA-63, $200, $250, but they're going up in some places. You're better off just spending the money. Again, 8-round magazine for the Makarov PM versus the 7-round PA-63. Ease of concealment in a pocket holster, Makarov PM. The weight is not, the 4 or 5 ounces is not noticeable. Again, Makarov PM. You're just better off with this pistol. You're better off. Ease of parts, getting parts, they're everywhere. You go on eBay, Gun Broker, you can buy barrels, 380 barrels. It's just that simple, guys. If you want a good working handgun for the money between the two, not saying the PA-63 is not a decent handgun, but between the PA-63 and between the Makarov PM, this wins hands down. And with that being said, YouTube, hopefully that's my final word on it. Have a good day.